Hello everybody and welcome to Nighty Talk. Today we have a really special guest on, as usual, Mr. Kibwe Skinner, a very good friend of mine. I've known him for years, dabbles in a little bit of this, a little bit of that. He's against my wishes. He is a professional dance teacher. He could be a professional partier too. But he also does some motivational speaking. He does some life coaching. He's a little bit of a jack of all trades when it comes to things of the mind, body, and spirit. So we're very fortunate to have him on. Before we get started, just want to give thanks to our sponsor of the show, Sly Skolberg Photography. A gentleman by the name of Sherman, photographer, does great stuff. You can book him for events, corporate events. He works for some marketing companies. He's done some stuff for friends of mine, for their marketing companies. He also does private stuff for your kids, weddings, you name it. He does a little bit of everything. He's even shot some of our cars. He's done some photo shoots at the track and such. So look him up. His website is www.slyschoberg.com. Don't worry, don't write it down. If you don't remember it, we will post it in our About section at the end, and we'll also have it in our Twitter feed. So without further ado, welcome, Mr. Kibwe Skinner.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on board, bro.
It's good to see you, my friend. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm. Tim's doing it right, people. He's doing it right.
We're trying to get some good information out there and have a good time while we do it. Before we get started, we got to talk about the fam. How's the fam? How's the kids?
Fam's doing good. They're growing a little too fast now. So we've gotten to that point where they're starting to tell us what to do with our life. Trying to deal with that. But you know, if you got that parenting thing down, you can handle it.
It's tough, man. I've been dodging the parent bullet for a while. I don't think I'm mature enough to handle another life yet. I got dogs and a car. That's kind of close enough.
I'll warn you, that bullet's got a mind of its own. It will find you. It will find you.
And how old's the your oldest is a girl, right?
Yes.
How old is she?
She's 8 now. And I have a son. He's 6.
Wow. Well, at least they're close, right? So what you gotta do is you gotta take the 6-year-old and put him in martial arts, so that when they get to high school, he'll be like, "Listen,
nobody will mess."
Right? You know what I mean? Because
he's already into that stuff. He's always following all the amazing action heroes on TV.
Oh yeah.
And he's always mimicking what he sees them do.
That's awesome.
So he's getting his lessons.
It's so cool seeing human beings develop, and you're sitting back watching. I know I have friends. Well, I have some friends that have kids, and I was actually at my buddy, Lanny, my buddy Lanny.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So he lives in North City. So I was up there last week or 2 weekends ago, and he's had another little boy. Shout out to Lanny and his crew.
Congratulations,
the Toro Clan's growing. But his little boy Lucas is only a couple years old, and I saw him when he was just a baby, barely walking, and then I didn't see him for 6 months, and all of a sudden he's walking around. He's jumping off the couch. He's throwing spin kicks. He's doing all this crazy stuff, and you sit back and you're watching his personality develop in front of you, and
yes. It's that part never ever wears off. That never gets old. 1 minute, crazy. Literally, they can't do anything. You're holding them in the palm of your hand, and the next minute they're literally weighing in on issues in the world, and they're doing so while they're doing all these grown-up things with their bodies. You're like, I cannot believe this is happening so fast.
Do you I look at kids nowadays, and the thing that shocks me the most, and it might just be because I'm too close, right? But growing up, kids didn't look like they do now. You see 12 to 14-year-old girls and boys, and they look like grown-ups.
Grown-ups now.
I thank God that I'm married now and I'm over 30, because I would not want to be 20 single in the club right now. I'd be so confused. I'd have one of those scanners, I'd be the guy. Forget Panda and the credit card and the scanners. I got that ID scanner. I'm like, hey, can you just give me a quick swipe, honey? I want to dance you, but give me a swipe first. I just want to make sure,
this is real.
You know what I mean?
You actually are.
You fine, legal. But you ain't 6 to 12 fine. You ain't 6 to 12 fine, girl. Sorry, but you're not. So
a lot of that comes in. It's not just physically what they're looking like. It's in how they're dressing now. The way they're dressing, the way they're carrying themselves right now. The average guy and girl will start developing and looking mature anywhere between 12, 13, and they could start looking like they're already 16, 17, some of them. And then when they start dressing like the grown-ups, they don't want to dress like kids. They want to dress just like grown-ups. So at a glance, you look at them and you're thinking, this actually is an adult.
Yeah.
And then, you find out they're somebody's little girl.
It's
and
crazy.
They go home and go do some homework.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I see. Now, I've read a lot of studies that talk about the hormones in the food and et cetera,
yes.
and how the genetically modified food would have effect you also got to factor in a little bit of evolution, and that we're naturally probably going to get bigger and stronger and mature faster, and we're living longer, and I can understand development would increase. So I understand all that, but what role do you think parents play in all this? Like, I'm torn because I'm not a parent, so I always look at this from like the idiot standpoint on the sidelines, like trying to point the fingers at people. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But just in my mind, I think of it, there's two schools of thought that I can't really wrestle. One is the parents, what are you doing? Don't let your kid dress as an adult. Right. You know, what are you doing? Like, come on, guys. But the other school is like, you know what? Those parents might sit those kids down and say, you know what, you want to be an adult? Fine. But they might be, hopefully they're instilling a lot of adult lessons. Like, you want to dress, you want to be an adult? Well, then you need to learn you know what's about, and it may actually help. Like some young girls, you know, when they're really young, hopefully they have some good guidance, and they're probably still trying to figure things out, but they're going to get that attraction. They're going to be dealing with a lot of stuff that some girls don't deal with till college. Right. So that might be a good thing if they have the support at home that they're going to learn. But my fear is that like there's the taking advantage factor, and it gets really murky from like 14 to 21. I'm going to say 21, 14 to 19. It gets really murky. Especially with girls. Yes. And it's like, where do you, as a dad who was like, you were in the game, like you were one of the guys that like likes to party, you meet lots of people, you're very social, very vibrant. From a dad standpoint, who you were wolves. Right. You were in the wolf pack at one point. Exactly. So you know, okay, I know what's going on here. I see that look before. I've given that look to the mirror to practice. I know what's up. How do you transfer that to your daughter and do it in a way that you're not going to be creating daddy issues, but you're doing it in a way to be proactive? I mean, I know she's a little young, but have you thought about stuff like that? Like how you're going to tackle stuff like that?
You kind of can't avoid it because it is everywhere. There's one thing that has definitely changed from back when I was a kid, and that is access to public media. They literally, the children almost have no control over how much is coming out. Parents have even less control because you can't be watching your kid all the time. But if I could kind of like sum it like into kind of almost a nutshell from a life coach's perspective, parents today are torn, just like you were saying, in the way that they mentally set themselves up to parent. All right? There's an emotion, a mother emotion or a parenting emotion that not just to be a parent, but to be a good human being. That's called compassion. But then there's a flip, almost a reverse emotion that achieves the same thing. And for most people, that is guilt, empathy, right? You can either parent somebody or contribute towards their well-being by literally caring about them having the ultimate life. Or you can parent somebody and contribute towards their well-being by flipping it altogether. You concern yourself with making sure they don't have a bad life. You make sure that you guard them from all the crap that could happen in the world. So you've got parents torn between the two. Parents are trying to say, you know, I want to give my child the best life they could possibly have. And then you have parents trying to say, I don't want to keep my child, I want to keep my child away from all the crap and all the danger. I don't want to be the type of parent that over-controls them. I don't want to be the parent that tells them that they can't do this and they can't do that. I want to be able to give them some freedom to do that. So what ends up happening now is parents get they paint themselves into a corner where just to be a parent, they're almost being like the UN. They're trying not to piss anybody off, especially these kids.
The UN's doing a good job, though.
They are.
Pissing everybody
And then you have the other parent who literally says, I know exactly what it is any child, especially my own, needs to live a fulfilling life. And I'm going to make sure they come to know that. What ends up happening now is both parents, whether there's the one that's trying to keep their child away from all the danger, or the one that's preparing their child for everything that's great in the world, right? They send their kid out into the world, or the world comes at their kid, and the kid now literally has to discern between what you would call good and what is bad. The kid's gotta literally try to live a life where they're either going for all the good amidst all the crap, or they're trying to dodge all the crap amidst everything else. And what you would see now is the kids get into the trends. They get into the, wearing things a certain way, carrying themselves a certain way, talking about life a certain way. There's all this, I don't know about you, but back in my day, whatever there was about you, people knew through you. directly from you. Today, you literally can have a full, viable presence.
Well, you have to create yourself now. I find that with social media, you have to really develop who you are at an early age to figure out what you're doing.
Well, you said that really fast. Social media now literally is this whole other level of reality where people can literally construct their whole personality and let the whole world come to know who it is they want them to believe that they are. And all the kids are getting bombarded with what they're seeing other people represent themselves as in the social media, and they start to say, well, I want to be like that, or I don't want to be like this, and I want people to know me as this, I want people to know me as that. And then kids being driven by that need to literally just fit in and be accepted.
Yeah, but see, the biggest problem I see is that parents don't have enough time to really help develop that child, give them those tools to really define who they are. Right. And I find kids today are relying on their peers and media to develop who they are, which is creating a really dangerous situation.
Yes.
Now, the flip side of that is if parents are very proactive with their kids.
Yes.
Because I mean, I want to touch on the point you were saying how you want to expose them to all the good in the world, and I'm assuming that means also the bad, so they know what the differences are. I think that's really important because I think parents that shelter their kids or put that wall up and they try to funnel them, you're not allowed to have Facebook. Well, hold on a second here, because you want them to go out and experience that stuff while they're young enough that you can still influence them.
Right.
That's my, I don't have a kid, so I'm just looking at it very objectively from a distance and saying, that makes sense to me.
Right.
That makes sense to me because you want the kids to have a bad experience online when they're 13 and they're upset, and you're able to be there to help them work through it, as opposed to 18 in college and they're like, I'm either going to get drunk and do something stupid, or God forbid, some of these people are doing the ultimate, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's really important to parents. And it's funny you should say this because Nick was on the podcast Thursday. We were talking about sports, parents of sports.
Right.
And he was touching on pretty much the same thing that you're saying. And he was saying that you have to be realistic about your children's expectation levels and their abilities. And it's your job to make sure you give them the tools they need to be successful, but also give them those tools to deal with life limitations.
Yes.
And my big thing is, I cannot stand for the life of me the fucking participation medal.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be giving out, because I think what happens is, and we were talking about this before the show, I think you're creating a generation that doesn't know how to deal with adversity.
Right.
And for me personally, I think very strongly that the only way that human beings can be truly successful and develop is through struggle. I think that human beings need struggle, and I think that we want it in our soul. We like to have the chips down and come back.
Yes.
That's why people love comeback stories. People love to see stories of people who can turn it around. You're watching a football game and a team's down 40-0 and they come back in the second half. You're going to be glued to that, and you're going to just, even if your whole family plays on one team, you're going to see that comeback, and you're going to little parties and like, yeah, because we want to cheer for the little guy. We want to cheer for the people who turn it around. What's crazy to me is that people can't, we feel that in our soul, because everybody has it.
Okay.
But people can't empathize. And you were saying empathy earlier, and that's something I think a lot of kids need to learn. They can't empathize with someone who's down trying to build themselves back up. But we like to watch it. Like, we like to celebrate it when it happens, but we don't want to put the hand out to help it.
Right.
Which is really crazy, no?
If I could, like you just touched on so many different things
I tend
at
to
the
do
same time. But if I could weigh in on that and bring it back to the parents' part, and then go to what you were talking about. We started from here. Everybody, be it the child or the parent, a good guy or a bad guy, a good girl or a bad girl, everybody out there is literally spending every second of their existence trying to live a fulfilling life. They want everything. They want life to be absolutely amazing. And how do they know that? If it does work out, they will feel fulfilled. So everybody is constantly driven to literally live a fulfilling life. Now, as you come into the world, a child, you pretty much, first you will be very dependent on your parents. You'll be very dependent on any influential figure that could come in and literally help you figure out how to get to living a fulfilling life. And then once you get to a certain age, you become autonomous at it. You start covering that yourself. where parents come in is parents are supposed to be that first line of, people like to say defense, but it's actually the first line of influence, the first line of literally getting somebody prepared.
Well, they're the developer.
Right.
You're developing I always tell people that I look at parenting as you're not raising a child. You are developing a human being.
You're developing a human being.
And people need to take ownership of that. Need to take ownership that, you know, if you're going to bring a child in this world, regardless of your situation, you can develop a great human being.
You can.
Whether you're poor, rich, single.
Whatever your circumstances are, you can
it's on
literally
you.
bring somebody stellar into this world. Now, what we're saying is the parent literally has to teach that little child what the actual, and this is tricky today, right? Because we keep trying to use everything in the world to do this. But literally, it's to teach the child what it is to actually be and have a fulfilling life.
The hardest part is defining what's fulfilling.
Right. But
because there's some kids now that will look at that and say...
we say that as adults. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
But we say that as adults. But you know, to a kid, it's really simple to explain.
But it's simple. It's not simple to implement, because my argument to that would be, you get a 13-year-old girl and you're trying to teach her about fulfillment, and she's going to look at Kim Kardashian and say that's what fulfillment is. No. It's money and handbags.
Then you haven't taught her. You literally have not taught her.
But how do you teach her?
You literally have to show them, and this is what the life coaches, our main challenge is that the actual thing that makes people feel fulfilled can change. Person to person, era to era, society to society, sex to sex, male to female. It can change.
There's one common theme though.
Yes, but
it's money.
No.
Money and power is something that human beings always want.
No.
How do you get your kid not to want?
It's not that. Sorry, not that it's not that. It's more than that.
I agree with that.
They've narrowed it down to money. They've narrowed it down to power. But it's literally just being able to access whatever you want. Right? Now,
that's a good point.
This fulfillment thing that I'm talking about, it can take many different shapes. It can take many different sizes. You can plug into many different things in life, many different things. You can even do different things throughout eras in your life. Like one thing will fulfill you when you're a kid, but it's something totally different when you're a teen and another when you're an adult.
I can absolutely attest to that.
But fulfillment itself can be explained very easily, and a child can get it. And then the child goes into the world realizing, that's all I'm always after.
So what is fulfillment? I'm a child. What is fulfillment?
Now, if I go there with you, it starts to get deep. Are we allowed to get deep on this?
We can get as deep as you want.
All right. The only thing that will fulfill anybody, all right, now this is proposed, the only thing that will fulfill anyone is to literally fulfill their destiny. If I fulfill my destiny, I will feel fulfilled.
How am I supposed to know what destiny is?
No, destiny.
I can't Google that. How do I figure it out? That's a question.
The first thing that you got to do is this. You got to almost pull back from everything that the world says that you got to be and you got to do. You got to pull back. You got to pull back from everything that the world even considers successful, or a failure, or this is what you should be in life, or this is. You got to pull back from that, because that changes all the time. That is a constantly morphing thing. Your destiny itself is this. It is, the best way to put it, you harnessing the power of creation in its purest form to literally make an ongoing contribution towards the fulfillment of everything. And when I say the fulfillment of everything, everyone and everything becoming everything that they can ever be. You literally harness the power of creation yourself personally to make that happen to people. I promise.
So the Coles noted. The Coles noted for some of our listeners who are like, the fuck's this guy talking about? I'm so lost.
It's going too deep.
I
apologize for that.
He lost me fulfillment. I was done. I was like, so basically what you're saying is, to be truly fulfilled and find your destiny, one needs to just reach their maximum potential at anything they do.
Not just at anything they do. Reach their maximum potential, period.
Of everything in their life.
Just period.
Well, that's funny you should say that, because I used to
apply it to anything.
Yeah, because when I used to when I manage people and I talk to people and I sit down with people, I always try to tell them this: leaders lead, managers manage.
Right.
But if you allow people to be the best they can be at what they're doing, they will always be happier than if you try to tell them what to do.
Now, you see what you just said there, right? You're getting when you are literally firsthand contributing towards people's life getting better, towards people realizing their own full potential. When you're doing that, you're literally fulfilling.
We're doing it right now.
You're fulfilling your destiny.
Yeah.
And in that moment, you will literally start to feel it. You'll feel like nothing in the world beats this.
Yep. And
Right?
see, I think, I always tell people money can't buy happiness, but money is a tool to achieve happiness.
Right.
Just like friends are a tool.
Right.
Family's a tool. Yourself, your own self.
The main, I would say that the core aspect of being fulfilled is always having everything you need. We live in a world where there's so much dependency on material things. Like everybody's got to have everything now. So money and power are the ways to make sure that you always have access to that. So the obsession is more than with money. The obsession is more than with power. It is what those things will get me and allow me to feel.
Okay, so here's a wrench in the plan.
Go ahead.
What if my quest to my competitive nature to be the best and have the most money and have the most power and tell people what to do and just be a shithead? What if that is what fulfills me? What if me dominating people and telling them what to do and me saying I control your life and I'll make it better? Right. What if that's my fulfillment? To me, that's like you just create an asshole.
I love what you just said. The quest for fulfillment is so wide open that people literally have the ability to warp it. To literally say, this is what is going to make me fulfilled. This is what's going to make me feel good. If I can be able to do this and have this and never be that and never, be without that, I will be fulfilled. And then people will literally develop the asshole gene, if you will, and literally say,
I believe that.
I'm just going to run the world.
100% believe that.
Whose world
I think
is
that
this world is mine. Right?
I think that people,
in it.
like I always believe now, like when I meet someone who's angry, when I meet someone who's like that, I always think that says more about them than me.
Right, but
so I can see where you're going with that.
There's one thing that will always be the same, or in common between them and you: the asshole and the good guy.
The only two races in the world, to me. That's the only thing I see.
The bitch and the little angel, they literally are doing it for the same thing: to feel fulfilled. The asshole is the asshole because it makes him feel fulfilled. The good guy is the good guy because it makes him feel fulfilled. And the same thing with the good girl and the bad girl. It's just that they've warped in our reality and in our world, they've warped what it is I gotta be and do to make me feel that way.
I think people, the core problem for human nature is we have an honesty problem. We can't look at ourselves in the mirror in any situation and be completely honest. Because my argument to be, I threw it out there to throw a wrench in it, but my argument to be the people that are those rich or whatever, people that try to abuse power, that is saying more about who they are than what they're doing, if that makes sense. I think that people gravitate towards that stuff if they're not happy with who they are. If you don't feel like you're in control of who you are and you're not happy, you're going to try to make other people... You're going to try to control other people's happiness.
A really cool way to put it would be... And not, again, I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, it's fine. This is what we're here for.
If you go after fulfillment, this fulfillment we're talking about, directly, you're going to realize that the only way you get it is if everybody else is on the path to fulfillment.
I 100% agree with that.
If you go after it the reverse way, meaning, which is what 90% of the world is doing, I am chasing fulfillment by avoiding being without it. That's how it's called.
That's me in a nutshell, bro. I love to win, but I hate to lose so much that I don't even like to win as much as I hate to lose.
But you got it. Wow, you just confused
in life.
I don't mean. Well, listen to this. If a person, which is what the world does, they either go for the ultimate goal, which is fulfillment, by directly heading towards it, and then all along the way they gauge how they're doing, or they go for fulfillment by avoiding being without it, which means they're fear-driven their whole life. What that person's going to do?
They're afraid of failure.
Yes, but pay close attention to this. In order to guarantee that they never fall into that hole of non-fulfillment, if you will, they're going to put as many things and people between them and the hole. This is the power-hungry guy. This is the asshole. This is the person that says, I got to be in charge. This is the person that says, I got to have it all.
Or the flip side would be the guy that's on welfare sitting at home saying, the world's against me.
The world's against
It's because I'm disabled, or I'm a race, or gender, or my parents didn't love me enough. I think that's the same thing. No, I think people that are just...
That guy's a little different. He's just given up, and he's hoping to literally ride the tide.
But he's afraid of failure. He's so afraid to fail trying to chase his dreams that he's decided to just... So to me, they're the same person.
Not really. They're totally different. There's one guy that will literally say that I'm not going to fail, and he will appear to everybody else as driven. He will appear to everybody else as always out and ahead. He or she will appear as always out and ahead. And in their own mind and spirit, they gotta have as many people and as many things between them and the whole.
Which makes them fail.
Yeah, ultimately, the more dependent you become on things in this world and control of other people in this world for your fulfillment,
It's a house of cards, buddy.
you will be guaranteed.
That's a house of cards. Because I strongly believe that every great
life.
life, every great man and woman, anything great in this world is built on the foundation of some failure. You do not get better unless you fail. If you try to avoid failure and you just try to take the easy road, this is why I have a problem with professional athletes.
Okay, all right.
You need to develop.
There's one thing that I gotta throw at you, bro. I'm hearing a lot of talk about failure. You gotta drop. You gotta fall, and you gotta get back up. Because in that, you're saying this. You gotta experience some form of struggle in your life, because that's what's gonna really refine you. That's what's gonna really hone your skills. That's what's gonna make you stronger and better. The same person that believes that, what is it thereafter? Is it failure? Is it struggle? Is it falling and getting back up? Are they after all of that? Success.
Yep.
They're after success.
Everybody's after success.
But there's two ways. There's the person that actually knows what success is, and they gun straight for it their whole life, amidst all the challenges and all the faults and all the drops. And then there's the person who says, I'm never going to fucking lose. There's a person who
That's
says,
me.
I'm not going to ever be last.
That's me.
All right?
But
wait.
that's you can't. To me, both those people, the common theme is they both don't want to lose.
No. Oh, I'm loving you so much right now.
But that's what I see. I see that. But wait, hold on. Let me just explain myself first. I see that as the guy that just wants to go from here. He sees success. He's going.
Yeah.
He's going to shoot for that right there and forget everything else in between, because I got to get here because I do not want to fall down.
Right.
And the other guy who's so afraid of failure, he's like, I'm going to do whatever I take. But those essentially are, to me, they're on the same path. They're on the same highway. They're just driving in different cars.
Right. Oh, I love what you just said. For anybody listening right now, this is the kind of stuff that gets us life coaches so excited. All right. There are two ways that everybody gets to the ultimate goal in life. Whatever that ultimate goal in life is for them.
And there could be multiple throughout your life.
Yes.
Like one could be a career, one could be married, one could be kids.
Well,
one could be
yeah. We use those.
They're all the same thing, just for everyone's listening. You don't need one goal. There's a lot. It's a spectrum. We're just talking about the journey to achieve those individual goals. Which I think is, before you get into this, I think goals are the most important thing for anyone's growth.
But wait.
I really believe that a goal to a piece of paper becomes a plan. A plan to action becomes success.
I agree with that.
That's always been, I heard that once, and that's my life goal.
Let me tell.
But dive into what you were saying before.
Here's the thing that us life coaches get called in for all the time, and this is the most exciting part of my job. Everybody, literally, is going after the successful accomplishment of the goal, whatever the goal in their life is at the time, or if it's their lifelong goal. Everybody's going after it coming through. But there's two ways to get there. You can either literally set your mind, body, and spirit up, or I should say your spirit, mind, and body up, to go for it the whole time. For example, if the goal is to be successful, I will be successful, right? Mm-hmm. Or you can go about it the other way. You can literally set your spirit, mind, and body up to go for that same goal by avoiding the absolute opposite of it. I will not fail. So you got two people right side by side with each other, heading up the same road to success. And one is saying, I will be a success. And the other one, standing right next to them, say, that's good for you, buddy. I will not fail.
So use the car analogy. What you're saying is, the first guy who's going race for success, he's in the outside lane. He's just driving on that highway. He doesn't care.
And
the other guy's in the inside lane, and he's seeing these off ramps, and he's like, which one do I need to take?
No, he's literally driving on the inside lane in reverse. Full speed. Full speed.
See, I have a problem with that. Because, this is the type of person I am. I set myself a goal, and I say, okay, I want to get this.
Yes.
And how I plan for that goal is I look at all the obstacles and failure points throughout that goal, and I look at those as little checkmark challenges.
Right.
And I never look at the end. Mm-hmm. The end is always, it's going to happen. Right. I need to look at the roadblocks, the failures in between, and try to get those out of the way so I can go.
No, you're getting exactly what I wanted.
But how is that going in reverse? I'm still going forward. If anything, I would say that I'm more realistic about my expectations.
Wait, hold on a second. It's not that you're going in reverse. You're both heading towards the finish line, but you're heading there in reverse. Your car is literally backwards.
My car is very fast backwards.
I know. But it's only got one gear, bro. And that's fair. Everybody, if your car is in reverse on the road to life, it's one gear, and that gear is fair. All right. Anyway, what I'm saying is this.
Fear is self-sabotage.
Yeah. So here's what happens now. The person that literally looks the other way says, when I say looks the other way, the person that's trying to get through life by avoiding failure, they set up a system that says, how many ways can this go wrong?
But see, I don't avoid failure.
No,
I embrace. I know there's going to be failure.
Right.
In my mind, I always try to figure out ways that I'm going to work through the roadblocks that are going to come up.
That's different. Challenges. There's a person that says, I look towards those points where failure will come at us and it's going to mess our shit up and then we're going to bounce back off of it. And then there's the other person that looks at it and says, I look forward to challenges. Right? The person.
I see what you're saying.
So
there's a perception, and perception we talked about before the show. I think it's huge. So you're saying the one guy, some people see the guy that's going in a straight line is essentially what I'm doing, but I'm looking at them as just challenges along the way, not failures along the way.
Right, possible failures.
I'm looking at it's a mindset. It's negativity versus positivity.
Right.
I'm saying there's going to be stuff that's going to come up, but I'm going to get through it, as opposed to, oh, I want to avoid not failing because this. I get you.
Knock me out.
I get what you're saying. So the Coles notes for everyone listening is that you're.
The Coles notes.
It's all about the perception of how you tackle challenges, trying to get to your end goal.
Right. Well, it's more about the conception. Whatever your conception is, meaning how do you set your mind up to work outwards, will literally influence how your mind works inwards, which is perception. So conception is outwards, how you express yourself, and then the experience comes in and you perceive it. Right? If you are literally trying to get through life by avoiding screwing up life, then your perception in life is, make sure I always keep track of all the ways life can go wrong, and then gauge through every moment of my life, how well am I mastering the art of dodging that? If you set yourself up to go through life by literally going straight for success, your mind is going to be programmed to say, how many ways can my life go well? And then you'll spend every moment of your life trying to make sure it goes well. You will still be accounting for all the ways that it can go bad. The person, what ends up happening with the person who looks at life that other way, the way where it's like avoid failure, when they get to the actual, what we call the goal in life, whatever their goal is at whatever era it is in life, you know what they feel? Relieved.
Okay, let me ask you this then.
Freedom. They don't feel fulfilled.
They feel.
They don't feel success. They don't feel I made it. They feel
it's relief.
They feel like I didn't lose.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But see, let's switch gears to athletes.
Athletes, yes.
Because I grew up as an athlete, obviously,
yes.
and you know me, I'm slightly competitive.
Yes. Okay.
Maddie Ice will attest. I've gone through a couple controllers in video games because sometimes
slightly.
Sometimes my goalie just decides he's not having a game and he has a B game. My controller is going to go through a wall.
Right.
And that's just what's going to happen, and it makes me feel better. It makes me feel fulfilled. But here's my thing, though. What my motivation to train harder, to do stuff, when we set up this show, my motivation is I like winning, obviously, everyone loves winning. But I hate losing so much that it makes me work harder to not lose.
Right.
And when I get to my winning, I don't feel relief or fulfilled. What I feel is, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be.
No.
Because I didn't lose. Nobody's gonna beat me,
bro.
Nothing in this world is gonna beat me.
Everything that I've been explaining, he's literally spelling it out for us. What is the goal of the game?
To win.
Then why are you saying I don't want to lose?
Because
I'm going to make sure I don't lose.
I want to win, but I hate losing.
All right, so
it motivates me, like in my soul.
All right, so people, listeners, I hope you're getting this. What I'm trying to get you all to understand is that there are two ways, but everybody's trying to go after the same thing. Everybody wants to be a winner, but a group of people decide I'm going to win, and then there's a group of people that literally says I'm not going to lose, and whichever one you choose literally becomes what we call.
You know what? Now that you're saying that, I do see, going back to your first one, the guy that's like, I want to get to this. I'm going to go in this straight line. Nothing's going to stop me.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't have to be straight. But you know what I mean? He's going, I'm A is my goal. Yeah. B is the finish line. I'm going to get there. I don't care about nothing else. I can see that being the same thing because I can see me motivated by hating losing so much that it motivates me. As like you said, it's just nothing's standing in my way. I'm not going to lose. Right. It's not an option. And if by chance a loss comes on my record, you better believe that I'm going to be twice as good the next time.
I hope Tim gets what we're trying to say. Literally, and everybody else that's listening right now, Whichever way you choose becomes how your mind programs you through life, and literally how your emotions come out. You will literally either be, so the winner the player who wishes to win will be driven by winning emotions, going towards the winning goal. The player that wants to win but does it by avoiding loss will be driven by the emotions.
What about embracing loss and using it as like a motivation?
Yes, this is what I'm trying to get you.
Which guy would I be then?
Now Tim's with me. You literally choose which one gives you the most momentum. We call it motivation.
Not wanting to lose. That motivates the hell out of me.
There are people who literally will go for goal to be the winner by literally saying, what would it be like to be the loser? And then they think about that every second of their life. And then all their energy, even when they're training, while they're playing the sport, is this motherfucker is not going to lose. I am not going to lose. But they never say, hold on, they never say this. They never say this. They never say, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. I'm going to win. I never
say I'm going to win.
Exactly. And here's what happens with them now, too. The whole game they spend, I should say the training leading up to the game and then the game itself, they spend that saying, not a loser. I'm not going to lose. I'm never going to be last. Not even second. I'm not going to. And then at the end of the game, when they actually do win, if they do, they're not what we call celebrating in victory. They're relieved. You'll literally see this look on their face like, I won! I won!
That's not me though. When I win, no look happens to me when I win. Maddie will tell you this. When I win, I give them a look like, what do you think was gonna happen?
You see?
I knew I was gonna win. Come on, I don't listen. My wife thinks I'm a lunatic because we will go grocery shopping and I'll be in the line, and if I see someone that's equal to me and beats me in line, my day is ruined. I'm like, what is happening here? I need to win at everything.
That's okay.
And it drives her crazy.
Right.
Because she's stubborn. So it makes us awesome.
There's one thing that I came to realize myself, and this is the part I love to share with people. We'll use the whole winning thing as one of the things that we're driven to do. We all want to win, but we all have to take a moment, look inside, and realize, what do I use as my reference point to know that I'm going towards winning? Do I use me as a winner and I go for it, or do I use me as a loser and I avoid that? So when people say, like what you just said there, I gotta win, you almost want to go into their mind and look at them and see, are you looking at you as a winner, or are you looking at you as a loser and trying to avoid that?
No, I still look at myself as a winner.
As the winner?
I still do.
That if you looked at yourself,
but I just know in my heart,
this is the thing that I
losing. The feel of losing,
it gives you
more. It gives me like this superhero strength,
right?
That I'm never gonna have it happen again.
So then, in your mind, it's avoiding losing.
That's me then.
If the thing that gives you power, gives you motivation to go, is literally, I'm never gonna lose, then it means that in your mind, you don't necessarily see yourself as the winner and say, that's what I'm going to focus on. No, you see yourself as a loser and you say, it's better to look at that and focus on me losing and avoid that at all costs, and then I'm guaranteed to win.
See, I don't think of myself
it doesn't make
anything
you a loser, though.
I don't think of myself as finishing first.
Mm-hmm.
I think of myself always as beating everybody else.
Yeah, see, that's it. That's how you know.
That's how I look at things.
And if that's it,
right?
Then you literally are avoiding losing to be a winner.
That's me.
It's all good.
I love it.
When it comes to competition, you have to choose which one works for you.
It works.
Right? Whichever one gives you most momentum.
I'm very happy.
But
I've been known to yell out at the top of my lungs on a basketball court, "White Mamba," when it's time. And usually I do something ridiculous that's far beyond my abilities, and the basket goes in. And everyone looking around, including myself, I'm like, I told you I was going to happen. It's you go into that mode. And for me, it's I want to beat the other guy.
Yes.
I don't want to win. I don't care about winning. I just want to beat everybody else, because for me personally, it's the competition between yourself and the other man. Mm-hmm. Those two, the other person.
Yes.
That is what fuels me in everything in life.
Yes.
I am like, and I am more competitive with myself than I am with anybody else.
I'll tell you one thing.
Like I will not lose. Okay. If I go to the gym today and I do a certain amount of weight, if I don't meet or pass that weight the next day, I won't leave. Right. Because it's not going to happen. I do not lose. Everything has to be win.
It has to be win. If Can I go deep for a second with you?
If you pull the thimble and ask me to go to sleep, and we start doing some Inception and get the breathing apparatus.
I ain't gonna mess with your brain.
You are gonna. No, I am not having that. Okay, I don't do
brain.
the sleep thing.
I'm not gonna mess with your brain. I'm just gonna attempt to expand everybody's perspective with a little bit more clarity.
Yeah.
Here's this one amazing thing that I found out about us, all of us, including myself. The drive that's in us, it includes a few different things, but one of those things is we want to be amazing. We just want to be amazing. But mankind today doesn't really have mentally a reference point, an unquestionable reference point in their mind for what amazing is.
I can see that.
So wait, the actual urge or yearning to be amazing doesn't go away. It still gnaws at you from the inside. If you don't have this unquestionable reference point to tell you this is what amazing is, guess what you're going to do? I still feel this yearning to be amazing, but I don't actually know what amazing is.
But couldn't that translate into doing everything amazing?
No, you're going to look left and right, up and down at everybody else, and you're going to do something that we all come to know as compete.
Oh, I love it.
You will compete.
I'm the guy. I don't look left or right, up and down.
You look
I turn around and look at everybody behind me.
Behind you.
And
It's
I'm like,
the same.
yep,
But
that's my reference point.
But you started off by looking at them left and right, up and down,
Never.
in front of you, and then you're like, I'm going to change this. I got to
Never.
get ahead of them.
Never ahead of
And then once you put them behind you,
I don't know what you. I don't know
or
what
you
game
were
you
born
play.
in the front.
I was born in front.
Everybody,
Second place is the first loser.
Tim was born in front. And you were never there. You never knew what that was like. But hear me on that one, everyone. We literally all want to be, we're driven by this need to, yes, be fulfilled, this overall need. But inside that need is a sub-need called, I got to be amazing. I got to be amazing. All of us have to be amazing.
Which is great.
But we don't have that reference point that says, well, what is amazing? So
Perspective.
What do we do? Well, we need perspective. We compete. We literally turn side
Is
by
that
side with
bad?
each other. It's not bad. It's a necessary...
Compete's amazing. We've always been competing.
And I hesitate to say this, people. It's a necessary evil. Please
Well,
don't hold me to that one.
But we've always competed. There's always been an alpha.
There's always been the game, obviously. There's always been but that's why it's there. It's there because, and it's always been there since the beginning of time, because the need has been there since the beginning of time. To know how amazing I am. To know how
Human
amazing
beings are a weird
you
creature,
are.
eh? Actually, any animal on this
We're
planet.
amazing. We're amazing. It's
Any animal on this planet, any living thing in this planet is competitive.
We're amazing.
Plants, you look at plants, okay, for example, you look
Right.
at plants. Plants are so competitive that they will literally grow and take over other plants and kick them out and say, bitch, you gotta leave, this is my shit. There's plants now that grow, they excrete these chemicals and shit.
That's different.
It's crazy.
They're trying to have an amazing existence for themselves. I'm talking about us in our uniqueness, humanity. We actually are driven, and part of the thing that drives us is being amazing. We want to be amazing. And how do we figure that out? We don't really have a way of figuring it out. So what we do, people set amazing goals for
People call
themselves.
you.
They do that. They do that.
They call life coach, say, I can't figure this shit out.
They set goals for themselves and they try to surpass those goals, or they literally enter the game. Any game in any aspect of life. Just like you said,
That's me, man.
At the grocery with shopping carts, you look at somebody else and you're like, I wish I had Nas on this cart. Because nobody would ever get ahead of me. People will literally go wherever they can in life, at any era in their life, and look for the game.
You know what's really crazy? The moment that I got the happiest in my life, a few years ago, is when I stopped giving a shit.
Yes.
I dance in the aisles of stores. I don't care. I do whatever I want to do in the moment that's going to make me happy. And you know what? I'm happy.
Yeah, but
I always tell people, the reison why you're not happy is because you don't want to be happy. Because you just don't. If you really want to be happy, do it. Because everybody who says they're miserable... And I mean, to get deep and personal, I've suffered from depression my whole life.
Yes.
Okay, and I go through spells all the time where I go through lulls of depression, and it's to describe it to other people who don't suffer from depression. It is a sadness comes in your mind. It's like a little sadness, and your whole soul it becomes entrenched in thirst for that sadness. It wants to embrace that sadness. It wants to feel sad. Right. And it's the most frustrating thing in the world to try to overcome, because it's like when you're hungry and you're just, I got to eat something or I'm just going to perish. No. It's like the hunger is that sadness and you need it in your life.
No.
And it's so difficult. But the moment that I started being able to tackle that, two things happened. One is I started taking a supplement called Alpha Brain from Onnit. I'm going to send it to your wife, this site, because it's www.onnit.com, ONNIT. They make basically, it's this guy. I got off Joe Rogan's podcast, who's phenomenal. If you've never heard Joe Rogan's podcast, listen to it because he's great. He's like the man of the people, if there ever was a man of the people.
Right.
But their site is basically a human optimization site. But I started taking this stuff out for me because it's vitamins for your brain. That can't be bad for you. Mm-hmm. When I started taking that stuff, whether it is my mind just says, "Oh, this is good stuff," and it's making me change, or it actually is the drug, for some reason it helped me get stronger and see clear. I can, if depression is a fog, which rolls in, I get a flashlight. Alpha gives me a flashlight, and I don't get rid of it, but I can fight through it. And the moment that I stopped caring about the people left and right, in front and behind me, and I started saying, you know what, all these people are behind me, and I'm just going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to achieve my goals, and I'm going to have these things that come up, and I'm going to blast right through them because I will not lose. I refuse to lose and be depressed and be sad and failure. Refuse. The moment I did that, it changed my entire life. And you know what? It went to the craziest things, like eating. Right. I wasn't happy with my diet, and I always made all these excuses. I don't like these foods, and I still don't like them. But I got creative, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna eat kale. I'm gonna have kale shakes. I'm gonna have spinach, kale, and arugula. Wow. Like anyone who knows me 10 years ago, if I told you this morning I had eggs with arugula, spinach, kale, and a little bit of lean ground turkey, they would have gave you the finger and said you're a bullshitter. Yeah, that's what I had for lunch today. That's not the Tim that. And it's like, you know what? And it's all part of that. It's all part of that ability to say, you know what? I'm gonna be happy. And forget all this other bullshit. I'm going to be happy. If you want to be happy, just be happy. Yes. Because anybody in this world who tells you that they're not happy and they don't know why, is bullshit. Because all they have to do is, like you said, look left to right, up and down, front and back. You'll see a bunch of cancers in your life, and they're pulling you down. And I do understand what you're saying, that you need to have that you know, I started A, I'm going to B, this is my line, I'm going to get there, it's going to swerve a couple times, but if you keep your eye on the prize, whether it's your happiness, whether it's a job, whether it's whatever you want, if you refuse to let things, excuses is self-sabotage. If you make an excuse, you're showing weakness. That's a weakness. That is not a trait that you should have. No. There's no such thing as an excuse. There's problems and solutions. That's what life is. You can put sprinkles on the donut if you want, but at the end of the day, it's a donut with a hole in the middle. It is excuses. I mean, it's problems and solutions. That's all that life really is. And you just want to be on the right side of that, which is the solutions, which I think it's what you're kind of, in a Coles Notes dumbed down version, I think that's what you're trying to get to.
I could give you the Coles Notes version of what every life coach comes into everybody's life to actually help them achieve.
Give me the Coles Notes 30-second pitch.
Like 30-second version.
For the idiot who's like, I don't know what's going on there. I can't figure this one out. Okay. This fella here is talking big words, and he's talking about fulfillment. I'm hungry now. If I eat right now, it's not making me give me the Coles Notes version.
All right. What is the governor of everything that you'll ever be or do in your life? It's your mind. How does your mind function if we were to simplify? It's a very complex organism, but if we were to simplify it down into one universal method that everybody applies uniquely, you literally fire up in your mind a mental version of yourself, and then you focus all of your life energy towards becoming it. Or
that's cool.
You fire up another version of yourself, another mental version of yourself, but this is the undesired flip version to that, and then you redirect all of your life energy towards avoiding.
So you're either walking towards the guy you want to be, or walking away from the guy you don't want to be.
You don't want to be, and
that is the Coles Notes version. Should have led with that, bro. We could have been.
I was trying, bro, but I'm talking to Tim here. You know.
Listen, you know what I tell people? I heard this from. I think I heard this from Joe Rogan. He did like a commercial or something. But I heard this once, and it for some reason resonated with me. If your life was a movie, right, and if your life is a movie, you're watching it. Be the fucking superhero. Just be the hero in your own damn movie. Don't be the sidekick. Okay, don't be the sidekick that you need somebody. I need a man. I need a woman. I need friends. I need money. Don't be the sidekick. You are the superhero. If you put yourself in the middle and become the superhero of your own movie, and you sit back when you're 90 years old or 80 years old, and you flick on the old tube, and you're watching a chronological history of yourself, you want to be the main character. You want to be the hero.
And you want to have been the hero that everybody.
And if you're not the hero,
was
then do it
the whole time.
If you want to be happy, be happy. Just do it.
Now, here's the thing. Now, Coles Notes version continued. That literally is it. The mind works by firing up a version of yourself every second of your existence, focusing on it and trying to become it, or firing up the undesired version of yourself, focusing on that and trying to avoid becoming that. Whichever way you choose, all of your emotions are that. Emotions are literally what we call our mind governing our life energy. That's what an emotion is. when your mind literally tells all that you're ever going to be the way it's going to go do it, right? You can either do it through what we call fear-based emotions, avoid becoming that version of me, or you can do it through yearning or love-drawn emotions, become this version of me. Now here's what we do. We point these emotions into ourselves, in our mind, and we attach all the things in our reality, all the aspects of our life, we attach them to that version of us, right? And then we get confused. We literally say, it's these things that are happening in my life, like my relationships, not
usually women.
my job.
For dudes, it's when women come in, oh my God, shit gets blurry as hell.
But it's every aspect of life. What you saw on the news, what happened to you at work, what happened to you at the grocery store, what happened to you in the traffic jam. We use all these things. What memory I just fired up that reminded me of something, this thing that I saw on TV. Like, we use these things just to have a version of ourselves in our mind that we can keep pointing our emotions to. So we'll even say this.
It makes sense.
This is the thing that coaches try to help you. We'll say this. You know what somebody did to me today that pissed me off? And coach will stop you and say, wait. Whatever it was you're trying to be and do today, you believed that anger was the best way to get there. So when that person showed up and did whatever it was they did, you were freaking grateful for them. And you took anger and you pointed it at them.
People like sad.
People like sad.
Why is sad and anger such a more powerful emotion?
Right. Well,
it's crazy, right?
I'd need more time for that.
No, we'll get into that. We'll get you on again.
Definitely need more time for that.
But it is funny. It is funny though that
it's not funny. It's amazing. Like if you actually knew what it was. Like,
that's why it came up to my original point that people love struggle. Like they need it sometimes because it's such a powerful emotion.
Wait, Tim! Don't let the people think that. It's not that they love struggle. They love whatever will give me momentum.
Sorry, it's not that they love the struggle. It's that people love getting through struggle.
No, getting
like
through.
The feeling...
Hold on. People love getting through. And if struggle gets them through faster, they'll say, I love struggle. I love having problems that I have to deal with. Throw me into the shit and let me work my way out. But the thing is that you don't like the shit. You don't like the trouble. You don't like the struggle. It's you like getting through.
I am in love with the process.
Yes. See?
I always tell people, if you don't love the process, who gives a fuck about the end?
And that's the thing you gotta get people.
It's like I'm more proud of the victories I've had in my life. Like let's use sports example.
Yes.
I'm more proud of the victories where I've had to come over adversity and come from behind to win than I have the ones where I just won.
Right.
There's just something about proving to yourself that you can get through anything. It's I guess that goes into fulfillment because I feel
that's what fulfilling is.
Like when I go through a loss. Or like if I lose and I rebound, and that growth that I've had to that rebound, I feel so amazing. Because winning feels better when I've either lost or I've had some kind of a struggle. Well, it just feels better.
It feels better because you need yourself a strong enough reference point in your mind to actually feel like you have one.
Well, here's a reference for most people that are listening probably understand.
Okay.
My favorite days at work.
Yes.
Are the days when I went in hung over to the Lord and back. And those days when I get home from work and I see all the stuff I did when I was I was like, that was a good day. I'm gonna get some McDonald's and go to bed.
Just literally that same thing we were talking about with being amazing. One of the best ways to know, like I told you, how amazing you are, is to literally, remember I said it? Throw yourself into the game. Throw yourself into competition. And by throwing yourself into the game or a competition, we didn't mention this before, but it includes throwing yourself into the game against all odds. So literally putting yourself into a situation where...
You make me want to get out there and get a basketball and just find some kids and just say, listen, this is what's going on.
I'm talking kids that coming straight out of Mozambique twice your height. You don't even have to jump to dunk. You
want to take them out. I'm in, 100%.
Exactly.
No, that's some good information though. I do, the thing that you said... Out of everything you said, the thing that really I'm going to take with me moving forward is you're either walking towards the person you want to be or you're walking away from the person you don't want to be.
Yes.
And those are two different people.
Yeah, but
there's two different ways of looking at things. And
are you saying both of those people are trying to get to the person they truly want to be?
But both the person you don't want to be and the person that you want to be are pulling you, and you have to decide which way you want to go.
No. Just to kind of clarify. Everybody's trying to get, ultimately, they're trying to get to the person they really want to be. Mm-hmm. You know,
but it's whether they're walking forward towards it or they're walking backwards away from the guy.
Away from the guy.
That's what I mean.
So they'll see.
That's what you meant, the reverse.
And what happens is.
But which one's better?
Going towards, because why do we say this? The mind. They say they call it this: where focus goes, energy flows.
Yeah.
Whatever the mind spends the bulk of its time focusing on, you become. you literally embody the version of yourself you focus on. So if you decide to focus on yourself as losing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, avoid that at all costs. Avoid that guy at all costs. And then I will luckily someday, or hopefully, back into being a winner.
Yeah.
The whole journey for you will be one of struggle and suffering, because you'll always see yourself as a loser, and you'll always be trying to widen the gap between you and that guy in your mind. And the wider the gap is the closer you are to being a winner. That's the way you'll see it.
And that's why you're saying that the
the
guy that's walking away from, that wins, he feels relieved now, because like, oh, okay, I'm here, I'm good, safe now. As opposed to a guy that gets there and is like, I'm right, where am I going next?
Exactly.
Now I understand.
He goes to.
Thank you for dumbing it down for us.
Anytime.
Common minds.
And remember, whichever one you're focusing on,
that's cool, man.
Determines your emotion.
So this life coach thing, you're just kind of getting some momentum. Ironically, you're getting some momentum. You're going towards the guy you want to be.
Yes.
So where are you with it? Like what's next?
Okay, so the goal is, you could call me, if you will, an aspiring fulfillist. My thing is that I want to help people live the ultimate life throughout all of their nows. I'm setting up the company in a way where you can literally access me one-on-one for coaching. You can access me in small groups and workshops. We'll even be doing seminars someday. We'll be doing this, like what you're doing, podcasting, live airing. But the core of the actual company is going to be a model that I'm working on. It's a brave proposal, but it literally is a model that people can use to literally look at how we do this thing called being. And then they take it, they make it personal, and they apply it to whatever it is they want to be. It's the one thing that I believe is lacking in the world, and I would like to help be a part of that.
I think the problem with this industry is people try to find the angle.
Yes.
And when you try to find the angle and money becomes that's when you get screwed gnarly, right? That's when it gets money always fucks everything up.
Yes, I'm in this one for the service of the greater good. Meaning, if I come up with this model and it changes the world for a better place, and nobody even knows that I'm the one that did it, I don't mind. I will literally still put it out there. If we can manage to turn it into cooperation, which is what we're aiming at, that literally can get to the point where we have what we call attracted enough resources to step into what my real goal is, philanthropy. I want to be able to give. I want to be able to literally start taking the fear of not having enough money away from all the people that have the true potential to actually make a contribution into this world, right? And I want to be able to help them out.
So okay, keep going.
So I'll start small. I will start by helping everybody one-on-one.
But where are you right now in your business model? Like, are you guys?
I'm almost done formulating.
You're not live yet, though.
No, I have not gone live yet. I'm formulating the model right now, and
so we're your first. Matty Ice, look at us, eh? We're the first.
The way it works is I coach people as they come to me. So everybody's pretty much finding out about me via word of mouth, and then they literally will come to me, and I help them out. Until the company goes live, I'll keep doing it like that. You need me, I'll be there.
I get you. I mean, essentially, when I started this podcast, I'm on the same boat. I just wanted to.
I can tell.
I wanted it to be. The reason why I do this is because I was inspired by podcasts that I heard, and it helped me. I went through. I don't want to sound cheesy, but I went through an enlightenment period about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And it was mind, body, and soul, and I made a complete change. I took a right-hand turn off the highway I was on, and I was like, I don't like this highway, I'm going somewhere else. And I got healthy, I got spiritual, I got a whole bunch of stuff that helped me get to where I am and helped me see clear. And like I said, it feels like I found a flashlight in my brain, and I turned it on, I was like, oh, this is a little easier now.
Yes.
I have that process, And I wanted a place where people can laugh and learn. I think laughing and learning is really cool.
Yes.
Which is why when
some of the best learning happens.
When I approached you a while ago and we were talking about what you're into, and you told me life coaching, because you were one of the funniest people I know, I knew that you would be able to relate to people, but you'd be able to deliver complex ideas in a way through humor and relaxability. People are gonna just absorb it and they're gonna remember it, right?
Thanks, bro.
And no, it's good. I mean, that's why we're doing this stuff. So when you go live, you come back on the show.
Yeah,
we'll do something. Absolutely, we'll do something. We'll get you back on for sure.
And you keep doing what you're doing. It's making life so much easier for everybody.
People like to just hear people that aren't
lost.
I mean, sometimes when you hear, I mean, it's good. I mean, God bless Joe Rogan. I think he's amazing what he's doing, because he said, you know what, this is stupid. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to let's just make the world better. He always says, let's create less assholes and the world will be a better place.
Yes.
I truly believe that. And I'm just trying to do because I feel like I need to do my part. And my part is I'm great at talking and I'm great at relating to people. And I'm good at forcing people into really difficult situations and talking them way out of. And I think that's what I'm trying to do here. Mm-hmm. But I do think that what you're doing has some merit. And I do hope that more people it doesn't matter what you do, just do something. And I always tell people that. It could be as simple as, I'm not going to post bullshit on my Facebook. I'm only going to post good stuff. Yeah. That is you may think it's stupid and little, but it's doing something. Because there's always, if you can help one person, who can help one person, there's a couple billion people on this planet.
Yes. That's one of the
things.
Ding,
ding, ding, ding, ding, ding. Right?
That's one of the things that we intend to do with the company itself, is to tell everybody, we've moved into an era right now where anything that you're thinking and you could do or say, you can literally post for the world to see. Yeah. So we present to you a challenge. What if the next thing that you posted literally had to improve the quality of life for anybody that viewed it? Could you do it?
Absolutely.
What if the next thing that you actually put out there, even if it was a photo or something that you're into, literally enhanced the quality of life for whoever viewed it?
Cat videos.
Yes.
But it's funny that we say cat videos, but you know what? There's been, you know what got me through a lot of dark times in my previous life working.
Y'all hear that, people? When Tim goes through dark times, he looks at videos and pictures of little pussies on the internet, and that makes him feel better. I'm starting to get concerned.
When I go, you know what I do? I do thug life animal videos. Blow my mind.
All right.
You just saved it. Blow
my mind.
He brought himself back.
I literally, you can ask my coworkers. I literally will be in my office from 4:30 to 5. The end of the day, just when I don't want to kill anybody on the way home. I put on those thug life animal videos, and I'm the happiest guy in the world. That's all it takes from me. I know my median. I sit there and I see two cats on a staircase, and the other cat just puts the other one down the stairs. My mind's blown. I'm like, that's it. I saw one time a ram. Yes. A ram. This lady smacked it across the street. The ram looked at her, took a couple steps back. Bowango. My mind. I was like, that's it. Life doesn't get any better. I'm at the epicenter of my happiness. But you know what? I say it jokingly, but it's a lesson to people. Find things that make you happy. Yes. And the people that, and more importantly, find the people that make you happy. Yes. Spend all your time with those people. Yes. Too many people spend time with negative people because they just get them out of your life.
I always say, commit as many of your personal nows as you can to the actual way of life that we call happiness. Yeah. And you will literally
in any situation in your life, do a 360 look around. Are those people making you happy? No. If there's one that's not, just go find someone else. Yeah. Because those people might make somebody else happy. Yes. It's just the way it is. But at that moment in time, it's nothing bad against those people. And I have friends that I've pushed out of my circle, and I go through a purge, quote unquote, on my every year of my social media feeds. And it's not a disrespectful thing to them. It's just you're not bringing something to the table that is making me happy. And you get so much little leisure time in your world. From all the other garbage you got to do all day, and running around and this and that and bills and taxes and work and oh my God, you get such little time to just yourself. Mm-hmm. Spend it with the people that matter. Because it's not about the people that aren't there. It's about the people who are there. Yes. And that's one thing I learned from getting married, which is ironic because I thought I'd never get married, and you probably thought I'd never get married. You know me all the time.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Woo, that was crazy. But sometimes it takes meeting somebody who just clicks. And I know it's a cliche, but when you know. You meet somebody, and all of a sudden it's just like it's almost like things just make sense. And you know what the craziest thing is? I tell people, if you're with a girl or a guy, and the cliches start making sense to you, you found somebody you need to marry. Yes, because when you start seeing like the stupid little cliche things that you hear on Hallmark cards, and you're like, this is get out of here. When you're single, you're like, fuck off. Right? But then when you meet somebody, and all of a sudden it's like,
and you're almost embarrassed to admit that they're clicking. Right? You're almost embarrassed to admit that they actually happen with you.
And that's how you get. But when you do that, it opens up doors. And when I got married, I spent a long time very angry about the people who couldn't make my wedding, right? Or the people that had excuses. To me, it seemed like excuses, right? But then when I got through it all, and I kind of just took a step back, and I started going through my, I'm changing the way I think about things. I started saying, you know what, they have their own reasons. Mm-hmm. Negativity and being angry at people just takes too much energy. It's true. You know what? If they need to be removed out of your circle, great. It's nothing bad about them. Don't get mad at them.
No.
They've made a choice. Maybe you are not the one that's in their happiness circle.
Right.
You can't get mad about that. It's fine. I bless you. Be happy.
Yes.
I need to find people who make me happy. It's about the people who did show up.
Right.
You know, and it's about the people that emceed my wedding. It's about the people that came to my bachelor party and my came to all this stuff. It's about the people that couldn't make it but pulled me aside months later and said, you know what, man, I should have been there. I have a lot of bullshit excuses. I'm not going to make them. Right. I'm sorry. I should have been there. There's no excuse.
Right.
Those are the type of people you're like, you know what? Those are the people that are going to make you happy and fulfilled. And you know, it takes growing up. But you need to find it's very important.
To further to what Tim's saying right now, and I am right there with him. I had that in my life where there was those grudges. There were those people that you couldn't believe did what they did or didn't do what they were supposed to do, and you found yourself holding on to it and harboring it.
Takes a lot of energy.
It does, but people, please understand that same thing we've been talking about all along. As you go to life, the ultimate, you're going to choose a way. You'll either go the way towards it, or you're going to try to avoid. You're going to try to use the way that is you avoiding the opposite of it. If you want to be involved in happy relationships, if you want all the people that you're connected to actually make you happy, or what we call fuel your way of happiness through life, if you don't know what happiness is, guess what you're going to go with? You're going to go with the opposite emotion to give you the fuel to find the happiness. So you're going to literally make note of, or what we'd say magnify and amplify, all the people that have crossed you, wronged you, so that, and it's not that they did anything wrong per se, that won't matter to you. It's the fact that I can use this now. I can use them. I can be mad at them. I can be angry at them. I could resent them. And that'll give me the momentum I need to back my way into happiness. Now, where Tim is at right now, which I'm so goddamn thankful for, is he's coming into that part of life where he has really embraced all the people around him that actually do lift him up. And he's starting to realize, hey, I know what happiness is, man. So I don't need to look to use.
I agree.
I don't need to use the negative version. I don't need to use anger and resentment to find myself happiness anymore. I can
100% agree with you. And I have a great example with Lanny, because you know Lanny. We all know Lanny. Love those guys. The Toros are the best. Liz, top shelf.
Yes.
But I used to be resentful because they moved north of the city. I never see them, and and a couple of times they made plans, and we just couldn't chill. And I get mad because I'm like, man, you feel like you're not a priority. It wasn't until I started thinking from the other side, like, you know how hard it is to have 2 kids, move out of the city to a house that's beautiful and that you think is best for your family. You make a decision for your happiness. Mm-hmm. How hard it is to look back on everybody and say, I'm sorry, I can't be there. Right. And I started, and it wasn't until the times when I just went out there. Like a couple weekends, I told you, I was up at a work event and they live right by there. So I was like, I'm going to sneak out during dinner. The guy went to dinner. I snuck out and went and saw them. It was the best. And you realize, again, like going back to the people that make you happy keeping your life, I realized that it's not about seeing him every weekend. Right. It's just the fact that when I see him, I know that they care. Yes. And I know that they've missed me. And I know that they would be there if I really needed them to. Right. And I think people hold on to those, like you said, those resentments, and it fuels them. You're like, I want to, how he doesn't come out and see me. He makes these excuses. But then you go out there and you sit down with him and his family, and you look around from a different perspective, and you're like, I'm very thankful that I have a guy like that and a girl like that with their beautiful kids. I'm proud that I have those people in my life, because I know in my heart, if I lined up the people that are really close to me, if I lined up in a row, I would look back and I would be severely proud of the men and women that they are, and I would like to introduce every single one of them to every single person in the world. Right. And not to sound cheesy, but I truly believe that there's people in my life like the Del Toros, the Kunjaks, Matty Ice, for example, my buddy Benny, my LA family. Like I got a lot of guys, Dorco and Sherman, just got all these guys in my life that are in my core circle. Right. That it's like, man, I'm doing all right, and it took me to get that flashlight. Yes. And force myself to just put it in those dark spaces and see, what the fuck's over here? I put something here. I don't know what the fuck's in this box. I'm gonna open this box. This is bullshit. I'm not mad at this fuck. He moved, so we moved out of the city. Fucking whatever. Let's go. I'm gonna go. You know what? Let's hang out next weekend. Right. And it's doing that kind of stuff shining that light on the shit that you don't want to deal with. Oh man, it's like I feel so relaxed now.
Yes.
Part of the thing that's helped too, which I really want you to come do it, and we're switching gears here real quick.
Okay.
You have to come to a float tank with me.
A float tank.
Yep, a float tank. So basically, I don't know if you ever, it's
We're about to get educated, people.
right.
What's a float
There's a really
tank?
cool place in Toronto called H2O Floats.
Yes.
They have a website. You
Okay.
can book stuff. It's great. You're sitting basically in a capsule,
Right.
and you're sitting in a couple inches of water. It's Epsom salt water, so the water is more buoyant than the human body.
Okay.
So what it does is, and you're just alone in your thoughts.
Right.
Your brain basically says, shut down non-essential services. We don't need them right now because you're floating.
Right.
Your body thinks it's basically sleeping.
Okay.
So you get in a real. It allows you to get to the meditation state.
Okay.
Really quickly.
Ah.
Okay. So you get in there. You're instantly in a meditation state. Some guys take years to learn how to do it.
Yes.
It forces you into it.
Right.
The way I describe it to people is your brain is a hallway.
Yes.
And there's all these doors.
Yes.
And you have a handful of keys that can open most of those doors. Some doors you can't open.
Right.
But there's walls and there's doors, and you're trying to go linear. When you get in the float tank, the walls drop, and you can all of a sudden see. Your mind can see peripheral vision,
Everything.
and you're like, "Oh shit, there's a lot of stuff in here."
Right.
And what it does is it forces your mind to go through those, shine light on those areas. All the fog goes away, all the bullshit,
Yes.
all the bills, everything, all the noise shuts off, and you're just alone with yourself. And it's like you were just saying earlier. This is why I really want you to go see it, because you're going to be standing there and you're going to see those two guys, and you're going to be able to go and shake their hand,
Yeah.
and you're going to be able to make a choice, and you're going to be able to
Which
work
one?
through a lot of all those things that are standing in your way. They look like they just disappear, and it helps you really get to it really gets you to another level. And like I said, the way I describe it to people is your mind is a corridor, and people understand what I'm saying, because when
Yes.
you're trying to deal with problems, you almost have to be like, okay,
I gotta shut this.
here's my bill. How am I going to pay my mortgage? Boom, I have the key. Open the door. This is my mortgage room.
Right.
Okay, what are we doing? It drops those walls. And now all of a sudden you're like, okay, so I got a mortgage. Fuck, I'll do this. I got this. But you can see everything in one space. And it just allows you to take a deep breath out. And we're going to go do one. There's one in Yorkville. It takes your mind to another level. And it just helps you really relax. And it goes into all that getting healthy, eating right,
If
being,
anybody's paying attention to what Tim is saying right now, especially the part about the mind being a hallway, and you can see straight down this hallway, and it's walls, doors on either side of you, and you get into a situation just like this float tank, but where you get to go to a meditative state. Imagine what really does happen is there never was a ceiling on this hallway, and when you go to a meditative state,
man, we're getting deep.
you literally float up out of the
We
hallway.
might have to smoke to start chilling, talking
You
about
don't
this.
need to
people.
smoke to get to this kind of
Let's
clarity.
try to for me to understand this, I think I might need some...
Remember Tim said the walls fall away? What actually happens is you float up out of the hallway.
That makes sense.
And you see over and beyond the walls and doors.
Makes sense.
And you gain that perspective. And with that perspective comes that clarity.
Yep.
And you start to be able to literally purge. You start
Yep.
to say, I can keep all the crap so that I can hold on to it and fire up negative emotions
Yep.
towards them just to think about them, and that'll give me momentum. Or I could start looking at all the things that are treasures and blessings that I have in my life and know that every time I call up one of those, it's going to take a positive.
It's like cleaning out your locker.
Exactly. But nobody cleans out their locker until they know what they want to put into it next.
Yep. Or they have the key to open the door.
Oh.
And you know what else is kind of cool?
That key or combo, you're in so much trouble.
Using this...
you need a life coach. Then you call.
Using this analogy with the hallway, another thing I found
Great
from doing this
analogy,
kind of
too.
stuff is now when I go through the hallway, my doors have windows.
Yes.
And I don't necessarily need to don't need to figure out how to get in the room to
Right.
deal with that problem.
Right.
I can see what the problem is.
Yes.
And I can see things ahead of myself, and I can see steps. I can visualize in my mind if I want to do something. I can visualize all the steps it's going to take to get there.
Right.
And I embrace all the challenges that's going to happen. And it allows you to just, fear is not an option.
No.
Doubt is self-sabotage. Excuses is self-sabotage.
Yes.
Why sabotage yourself?
And all these-
So we're going to go float. Before we come back, we're going to go float. And I'm really curious to see what happens to you after a float.
No, I think
Because you're already kind of floating around a little bit. I want to see what happens when you're
one thing
stuck.
we gotta hold on, Tim. We gotta clarify this for everybody. You're saying we gotta go to the float tank. I think everybody needs to understand. If you don't know what a float tank is yet, is this something we share
Tim?
You can.
Or is this something you're going by yourself?
No, you can. You can do tandems if you want. But I don't recommend us do tandems.
No.
I feel like we'll end up in a water fight
The last
because
time
we're
I
competitive. I'm like, yo, I get more space. I'm bigger than you. And you'll be like, listen, embrace your feelings. Don't get so mad. I'm like, get out. No, but the float tanks are cool. I highly recommend it to people who are, like all the guys that I work with, I see that are just high stress jobs,
Yes.
just spend the hour, it's cheap, go, just do it, lay down, just digest.
Yes.
Digest
I hope
yourself.
you all heard that. If you are actually immersed into a life that is highly stressful, literally, you have to function on stress just to actually... Sorry, you have to run on stress just to function. If you do live one of those very complex and packed, jam-packed lives, please, I don't know about this float tank business, but go. Get into any type of activity or experience that allows you to unplug and do it as often as you possibly can.
You can buy them for your house now.
Before what?
Yeah, you can buy them. They're only a couple grand. You can buy them and put them in your house and do it. There's guys that do it. There's athletes and
I'm seeing flashes of that movie Elysium where they have that heel tank in their house. I need a heel tank.
Well, it's for the body, it's Epsom salt, so it absorbs in your body, which is also good for your skin and yada yada yada. But no, it's really good. I'll take you down to one. I'm trying to organize a day to go with some of the boys, and it's good, man. It's good just to. For me, I like going. I haven't gone that much. I want to go more, but just time. But for me, it's more.
Count me in. I want to try.
It's just a way to. I just like to sit down with myself every once in a while
No.
and just talk to myself and just say, okay, what are we doing, where are we going, what's going on? Because most people don't know who they are, and most people don't ever have honest conversations with themselves. And when you're stuck in a capsule by yourself, floating, your body pretty much shuts down, and you're basically looking around at yourself. It forces you to have that conversation with yourself.
That's the biggest actual challenge as a life coach.
Yep.
What you just said. Yep. Most people literally do not take the time to actually identify themselves internally.
Yep.
They literally identify with everything that's happening in their world around them, be it good or bad, but they don't actually know who they are. And experiences like this, like delving into experiences like this, helps people literally get back to that.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think anything progressive helps. If you sit down with a life coach, sit down with a therapist, sit down with a friend, go to a float tank. My what I want to stress to people is do something. Because once you do something, you'll do something else, and once you do something else, you'll do everything, and you'll
remember.
The quest for happiness is so contagious once you feel it.
Do something that optimizes your chances at living a more fulfilling life. Don't just do anything.
Bingo.
Don't do, like, for example, there's a lot of people that'll hear Tim's great advice right now, where he says do something, and they'll literally go out there and say just do anything. Just do anything but that. Do anything but the crap that I've been doing. And then they'll end up falling into...
You'll find new crap to fall in.
Exactly.
Right? If you try to jump a ditch, you're going to fall in the other ditch. Just get out of the ditch, get on the road. That's as simple.
It's like being in a public toilet. You jump out of one toilet, you fall into another.
Yeah.
God damn it.
If you fall in shit, don't just change your clothes, take a shower.
And walk away from the bathroom. But literally, people... When Tim says do something, he says it with a lot of love. So I hope you're hearing this. It is literally find something that you could plug yourself into. And once you get involved in it, you literally start feeling better about your life. You actually start growing. You actually start becoming more. Don't just go do something to get your mind off your shit. Don't do that. Or should I say, please do something more than that. Than just do something to get your mind off your shit. Go find something.
Happiness is hard, man.
That literally lifts your mind to another level.
It's hard for people to admit they're not happy and to be happy.
Yes.
It's honesty. People. That's why I think, especially in North America, we have an honesty problem.
Happiness ain't hard, people. It's just nobody knows what it is.
It's trying to be honest with yourself. Right.
A lot of people are wasting time.
They think that happiness is buying shit, and it's not. They're not necessarily wrong, but it's just you can't. And happiness isn't one thing.
It's not.
It's really a lifestyle. It's your whole.
Way. It's a way. You know the old saying: happiness is not a destination; it's a way of travel.
Love the process.
The world throws a lot of packages at you that they say if you have this and your life is like this, you will be happy. But please take the time to actually know what happiness is. What makes a human being happy? And it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long to actually educate yourself and open your mind up. It's not something that you're going to learn that's new. It's something that is renewed. You've always known it. But the world has literally clouded your definition of it. And it just helps you do what Tim was talking about. Gain that perspective, that clarity. Right?
So listen, for all our listeners, if anyone has any questions for Kibwe, if you have some stuff that you want to talk about or something to clarify, on our webpage, callitannight.com, we have a contact section. If you guys shoot us some questions for him, I'll make sure they get to him, and I'll put you in touch. And then Kibwe can go from there. But I'll definitely, if you guys have any questions, I'll try to get you in touch with him. If you want some clarification, you want to book something, because you're at that point where you'll sit down with people. You just haven't officially launched. So you're doing a soft launch, quote unquote.
Yes, I'm here. So
when you officially launch and you're ready to rock and roll and everything's firing all cylinders, definitely we'll have to get you back on the show, and then we'll. I
would be honored.
Because I'd like to next time. I'd like to get into because we're running out of time here. I can't believe we've already burned through almost 2 hours, but.
When you're doing good things,
right? I like it, but I want to get into, especially when you start doing this a little bit more and you start going live. I want to get into 2 parts: the business aspect, which is always tough for people when you want to do something good that you're passionate about, but then there's money, and obviously money is a big part of any business.
Right.
It's how to juggle the two, which I know we talked about before.
I can help you.
And I'm curious to see how it unfolds. So let's talk about that. And the other thing I want to talk about is how the different situations you've been in and things you've heard. Mm-hmm. I want to know some of the things you've learned from it, because obviously when you're dealing with people's shit, you're going to learn about shit a little bit more. Yes. So I'm really curious to see that. And I also got to get into the dance next time.
Yeah. Hey.
Because
we got to go live. There's got to be videos.
I can. It's
like dance.
I'll do the white boy boogie. 100%. I'll get the white boy boogie.
Love that.
Right?
They do.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's and I think what I hope people take out of this today is that it's okay if you're not happy. It's okay if you're confused. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be who you are.
Yes.
But
it is not.
Make sure you like who you are.
Right.
And if you don't like who you are, do something.
And
change your situation.
Now, for me personally, where you say it's okay to be sad or depressed, or what else did you say?
Angry. Anything negative. It's
these negative.
Doesn't make you a bad person is what I'm getting.
No, that definitely not. It does not make you a bad person. And as Tim says, with a lot of love, it is okay. But please understand that all of these, be it unhappy, be it depressed, be it sad, angry, resenting, be it envious,
and this is also physical.
These are ways of being you. These emotions are what we call the way of being you. It is not okay to commit to them and say, this is the way I'm going to be me. So, like Tim says, change. Go find that better way to be you. Go find the way that we say sadness turns into connection.
Yeah.
Angry turns into literally being virtuous. Like there's ways. We'll get into that.
And also, next time we sit down, I want to get into stuff like body dysmorphia.
Yes.
And unhappy with the physical person you see.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a huge one. And I think that's a whole show on its own.
Yes.
But I know that, everybody's a little bit guilty of it.
Mm-hmm. They are.
I go to the gym, and every once in a while I'll be like, oh man, like...
We'll definitely deal with that, and we won't just talk about it. Remember, if I come on with Tim, we're not just going to talk about things and weigh in on them. We're literally going to delve into how, if this is an issue for you, how we can help you overcome it, and actually start making the most of every single one of your nows in your privilege.
And it's another thing, like you said, do something.
Do it.
It's okay to look in the mirror and not like the person you see, even if it's physical.
Yes, it is.
But it's not okay to not do anything about it.
And I always say this, it's not okay to literally commit to that.
Yeah.
That feeling of not liking what you see in the mirror.
Yeah, I agree.
And spending all your time not liking it. All right? There is something amazing about every one of you all out there. And it goes beyond your looks.
Everybody's beautiful somewhere.
But more than everybody's beautiful.
If you can't find it.
Everybody can make everybody else's life better. And that is where your beauty shines. Can you come into my life and make it better? Because that's when I'm going to find you beautiful. Can you raise my ability to live the ultimate life just by being you? That's what's going to make you awesome.
You know, one of the greatest feelings I have in my life is helping a stranger for no reason.
That's when it comes. That is literally when that feeling comes out.
Blows your mind.
Yeah.
It blows your mind when you see someone who's truly thankful, whether it's a homeless guy or whether it's a coworker, whether it's a family member. When you help somebody for no reason but just to help somebody, especially if it's a stranger, there's something that happens to you.
It is. Everybody remember, we're literally going to dedicate a whole podcast to this, what he just said there. Yeah. Something happens to you when you go above and beyond the call.
I want you to check my Twitter feed because I have something I've done recurring called the Random Act of Kindness Challenge.
Yes.
And my 2 things I'm really preaching right now is the random act. Do something. if 10% of the, or 1% of the entire population of this planet, once a week, did something nice for a stranger, we would have hundreds of millions of people helping people within a year. Right. Hundreds of millions of acts of just, I'm going to help you today. Whether it's paying for someone's coffee and paying it forward, whether it's, you know, you see a homeless guy and getting him food and not giving him cash, giving him food, or whether it's, you know, just helping somebody who's, you know, helping somebody who needs something, who just needs a little hand. Doing something for no reason and not expecting anything and not accepting anything in return will give you something great. And I challenge everybody. The hashtag random act of challenge. Post your stories up with that hashtag when you do something nice for people, because the cool thing about social media is trends absorb people. If we can get 100 people to do stuff and have it, it becomes cool, and other people share it and other people want to be involved. Could you imagine the world would look like if for 1 year, once a week, 1% of the population did something nice for a stranger once a week? Whether it's hold a door or give a compliment or put out a hand for no reason. Imagine how beautiful this planet would start to look. Right? And the other thing, and it goes into my other one, which I really preach, especially now what's going on with all the negativity in the world, which we won't get into today because that's a whole other cast as well, is the race issue that's going on in the States. My thing is together strong. And it's not, just to Cole's note it briefly, I don't have a problem with Black Lives Matter, because people that say, well, white people get shot by cops too. Yeah, well, guess what? You didn't say anything. Black people are. So you know what? Don't shit on them because they're saying we want to stand up for, if you know, they throw out these stats, well, more white people get shot by, okay, well, you know what? That's bullshit, because they're not having these problems. They're obviously, it's not an issue in their community. So don't shit on someone who it is an issue in their community. That's not right. And on the flip side, do it in a way that's going to make your community proud. You know, if you're going to protest, be able to go back and talk to your grandma and say, grandma, or your great grandma who went through real oppression, right?
Or better yet,
be able to look at her in the face and say, this is what I did. And if you're kicking in a window and stealing Jordans, or you're destructing property, you can't look at your grandma who went through all this struggle, and look at her in the eye and say, listen, this is what we did. Because there's 100% things need to change. But how are you going to, you got to change. You can't bring change through violence, because then that only creates more violence. It's going to take a long time to make change. But if we start bringing more and more people together, and we start realizing that religion, race, gender, ethnicity, sexuality, all those are socially constructed prisons that we've created. And there's really, and you know, I tell you this all the time, there's two people in the world. There's us, who are great people, and we do great things. We have shit on the moon, and Mars, we're driving around in iPhones, we can control rovers, and we're helping people, we're curing stuff. Then there's assholes. Those are the only two races that are on the world. There's us and assholes. The more us that stick together and help each other and push out the violence in communities, and you know, stop the stupid, this insanity of like stitches get snitched. Get out of here. Come on. If you were willing to stand up in your community and say, what you did was wrong, because you brought violence here, and I'm not going to stand for it, and I want justice, and that person is a hero, that person is a social leader, that person is someone you need to rally around, because those are the people that are making a difference. To be able to stand up against violence is huge. If you start doing that in your community, then you can look on the other side and say, well, we're doing this over here, what are you doing? Now you can spot the assholes better, right? You know, sometimes you need to shave the sheep to see the wolves underneath, you know what I mean? So that, again, that's for another time. But what I do want to take out of this for people is, for this specific podcast, is do something. Be better. Together strong. If we all come together, imagine what we can do. Because they don't want us to.
And remember,
when we come together, people, it's not we're brought together because of what we don't want anymore. When you come together, let it be because you have found what you actually want. What do we want to be as people? What do you want to be as an individual?
Don't protest the act. Don't protest the solution.
The solution. If you're going to stand up for the people, stand up for what the people truly need. Don't just stand up for what the people don't want to or will not.
You got to take a look at the Free Hug Project. There's a gentleman, I can't remember his name. Forgive me. I will have it for next time. I'll put it on our site. There's a gentleman that's going around America right now, and he's going to all the hot spots, the protest spots, and he's giving out hugs, like literally just hugging cops and hugging people. And he's being met with some resistance, but he's standing pat and he's saying, change, this is, and I 100%, I would love to shake this guy's hand and give him the shirt off my back, because he gets it. And he knows that violence is not going to
No.
Not going to solve violence and hate. No. How are you going to solve it is love. Love is the most powerful tool in the human world.
Definitely. And that, again, that's like 10 podcasts right there.
Right? But I mean, if you...
sum it up
and he's doing something. And now he's doing the extreme, but you don't have to do the extreme. You could support him.
Yes.
You could share his story.
Yes.
You could say, I'm not going to post the CNN video of the gunshot because everyone's seen it and they want you to do it because they want to... They're in the business of making money, not the show news. Mm-hmm. I'm going to support this guy who's going to talk about it, but he's going to talk about more about what we need to do to fix it.
Right.
Solutions.
Well,
life is what? Problems and solutions.
Challenges and solutions.
I say problems, solutions, challenges. Listen, potato, potato.
No,
you're a life coach. I'm a podcaster. Potato, potato. But I agree with you saying. Let's do something. Let's make the world better.
I'll say this. It takes a negative emotion to solve a problem. It takes a positive emotion to overcome a challenge. But life, the amazing, comes through positive emotions. Always remember that.
And from my point of view, less assholes, more awesome people. Right? I think that's a good way to end this one.
Yes.
Less assholes, more good people. Right? Let's land it there.
I will fully endorse
So keepsakes are coming out. And like I say, in the meantime, before you're up and locked and loaded, definitely let us know when you're locked and loaded. We'll get you we'll get your information out. Anyone has questions?
Don't wait until then. Tim is going to show you how you can.
Yeah, anytime you guys have questions, you hit our Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter at Knighty. It's at KNIGHTEY. You can also go to our website, which is www.callitKnight.com. So callitanight.com. All our podcasts are up there. You can also see us on SoundCloud. On SoundCloud, it's Knighty Talk is the name, as well as on YouTube. So you can get us on that. But I definitely encourage people on either Twitter, on my Twitter feed, or hit my website if you have any questions for Kibwe or any of our guests. We had Nick on the other day who knows a lot about baseball and prospects and helping. He's got some good information to help parents regulate their expectations of their kids. So anytime you have a question, please, by all means, just hit us up. And at the next podcast, we'll try to get to your answer. We'll put you in touch with the people that are on the show. We can even dedicate shows if you have an idea for a specific topic with a specific guest. We'll set that up. Like if you want to talk about the word love, what does it mean? You want Kibwe to come back? That's an example. We'll try to set that up for you guys. So this is our podcast, but really it's your podcast. It's what you guys want. We're going to try to bring really cool people. So before we wrap up, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Sly Skolberg Photography. Hit him up. He does great work. He's a super solid guy. Sherman's the best guy, right? Sherman's the best guy. He's just one of those guys that you meet him and you're like, yeah, you're part of my family now. You come over for dinner. So definitely hit him up. His information's on our website. And God bless all you. And remember, guys, together strong. You know, let's do. You want change? You got to do something. Okay, guys. So God bless all you, and we'll see you guys next time. All right, guys. Knighty out.